Step into the shadows of forgotten lore, where ancient myths whisper secrets that birthed the fantastical world of modern fantasy. Join us as we unravel the threads of time, tracing the lineage of dragons, gods, and the heroes from myth to modern imagination. There's something ancient in the way we gather around stories. Whether huddled near firelight, pages, or pixels, we return again and again to tales that offer more than escape. They offer understanding, meaning, hope, a way to frame the chaos. Before we had microscopes or telescopes, we had myths. They were our earliest lens to explain the unknown. Ancient myths were always more than symbolic tales. They were a living worldview. Societies used these stories to shape the ideals and expectations of the people living within them. The Babylonians believed the world was born from the body of a slain chaos dragon named Tiamat. The Greeks imagined Prometheus stealing fire from Olympus to give humanity the gift of knowledge, only to suffer eternal torment for it. In the Rig Veda, the cosmos was born from the dismembered body of Purusha, a primal being whose sacrifice established the structure of the universe and the social classes of humanity. The Egyptians told of Osiris, murdered and resurrected, whose story mirrored the cycles of the Nile and promised that even in death there could be renewal. Myths like these gave us origin stories, morality tales, and psychological maps. They echoed the seasons, death and rebirth, struggle and sacrifice. These aren't relics to be forgotten after a child comes of age. These are blueprints for adapting and thriving in an unpredictable and chaotic world. And fantasy? Fantasy is the renovation of those blueprints, new towers built atop ancient foundations. Let's talk about heroes. In the oldest recorded epic, the Epic of Gilgamesh, thereabouts 2100 BCE, the Sumerian king sets out on a doomed quest for immortality. He battles gods, grieves the death of his companion Enkidu, finds wisdom through failure, and embraces his mortality. Sound familiar? It is the same shape we see in Frodo Baggins, in Luke Skywalker, in Geralt of Rivia. Joseph Campbell called this the monomyth, the hero's journey, not because it's repetitive, but because it's essential. We're drawn to it because we are it. We are all born into unknown worlds. We all face trials. We all seek meaning and return changed. Fantasy at its best puts this journey in full relief, wrapping it in dragons, swords, or stardust. Fantasy highlights the emotional and psychological depth of the human experience by making it more visible, more vivid, but always anchoring it in something achingly human. A child learning to say goodbye, a friend risking everything out of loyalty, or the unshakable hero admitting that they are also afraid. Gods and monsters of old never vanished either. They merely evolved. You'll find them in Ritteren's Percy Jackson series, wandering the halls of American high schools, and in Marvel Comics, Thor and Loki, who no longer guard the 9 realms, but fight alongside other gods and mortals, their myths retold in cape and armor. And the monsters? They never left either. The Hydra becomes the multi-headed system of oppression that we fight in dystopias. We created the zombie to personify our fear of losing our individuality, autonomy, and identity. The vampire constantly shifts from a creature of horror to a metaphor for consumption, addiction, and loneliness. Fantasy lets us dress our fears in scales and fangs, and then face them on our own terms. Dragons are perhaps the most iconic crossover from myth to fantasy. The quintessential monster of power, chaos, and the sacred unknown. In Western traditions, dragons are often described as hoarders of wealth, symbols of chaos, and guardians of forbidden knowledge. They frequently represent the final trial for our hero. In Norse myth, Fafnir is a cursed dwarf turned serpent. He is consumed by greed and sleeps atop a hoard of gold until he is slain by the hero Sigurd. An early echo of Smaug in The Hobbit. But in Eastern mythology, dragons are not monsters. They are revered as forces of nature to be respected. The dragon in Chinese mythology brings rain, fertility, and cosmic balance. Japanese dragons, like Ryujin, are wise sea deities tied to natural cycles and the spirit realm. Eastern dragons remind us that power, when respected, nourishes rather than destroys. 2 traditions, one of conquest, one of reverence, and modern fantasy has absorbed both. From Daenerys' apocalyptic beasts to Spirited Away's river spirit Haku, the dragon remains fluid, a creature as adaptable as myth itself. Fantasy today may be filled with elves, airships, or parallel worlds, but it is still whispering the same questions. What does it mean to be human? What lies beyond death? What are we willing to sacrifice for love, for power, or for truth? Ursula K. Le Guin once said, "The creative adult is the child who survived." Fantasy keeps that child alive. It gives us the tools to ask hard questions in soft ways, to explore grief through ghost stories, injustice through dystopias, and hope through heroism. The magic of storytelling is that it endures and evolves. From temple chants to the big screen, from oral tradition to hidden bosses in video games, we keep telling the same stories because they keep telling us who we are. Fantasy is not the opposite of reality. It is the mirror we hold up to it. So the next time you pick up a book, watch a show, or sit through a tale of gods and goblins, remember, you are part of a tradition that began long before you and will continue long after. And that, dear listener, is real magic. Until next time, may the past speak clearly.